it gets unruly, you can chuck it at them.
He's speaking real. Ain't as good as that one. Good one.
Yeah. Right where I want it to.
I have to have shoulder surgery after, but the one throw would be on target. Okay, we're good? Okay. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Southline City Council meeting for Tuesday, August 4th, 2026. Appreciate you being here. Welcome those watching on YouTube and anybody that's on Zoom. One of the people on Zoom is Councilmember Peterson, so he's going to join us via Zoom tonight. We'll start with a moment of silence. After that, Councilmember Howard will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So, entertain a motion that we officially begin.
So moved.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, a little moment of silence, and then Councilmember Howard will lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you.
Rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. On these Truth and Taxation nights, we don't have a regular agenda, so there will be no public comment as far as general city business or anything that's on your mind, nor any other discussion or action items or reports from the council. It will all just focus around the public hearing it'll focus around the public hearing for your comments on the tax increase, but that's all that we'll be able to comment on tonight. And then the only thing that the council can discuss or vote on will be the budget as well. So before we open the public hearing, though, just to make sure that everybody is educated on what exactly is happening, we'll invite Peter Angerwirden, our financial director, up to talk about that. So those of you on YouTube, you're not able to comment, but please continue to watch. Those that are on Zoom, once we open the public hearing, then feel free to write your comment as if you were here in person, and we'll read those at the end of those that are here after they speak. So, Peter, set us up, please.
Thank you for prefacing those remarks, Mayor. And you know, it isn't necessarily our choice that we're not allowed to discuss other items tonight. That's just what we're told to do. So we're supposed to focus on these things only. So for our Truth and Taxation hearing tonight, we're adhering to the Utah Code, primarily UCA 592-2-919, subsection 8. And just want to point out that this hearing was properly advertised and noticed in accordance with the statute, and the link to participate virtually was available since last week, which was far longer than the required 24 hours that we're supposed to put it out there. And almost all of the information that we're going to discuss tonight is also available on our website, southogdencity.gov. So obviously we're here in City Hall attending the meeting, but it's available via Zoom virtually. And I think we have just a couple of items to go through for the hearing, and we'll talk about truth and taxation and what the proposals are before us, and the public will have an opportunity to comment on that. So essentially, we decided to go through the truth and taxation process back when we were adopting our budget, and we're going to go through item by item the proposed items that need to be funded through the proposed tax increase. Right now, our budget is built on a proposed tax increase of 10.30%. And those items, while they're in our budget, and technically we have a working budget since July 1st, we're not able to expend any of those incremental funds that make up that what right now is that 10.30%. So we adopted that rate as a maximum back in June for the truth in taxation process. And I just want to walk you through the impact schedule, and our city manager, Matt Dixon, can pull that up for us. Yep. Yes, thank you. So the impact schedule that we're going to go through has been passed out to all of the members of the public that are present, and it's also available on our website, as is the county tax schedule, which we just are supposed to make publicly available, the county tax schedule, which identifies the other entities that are going through the truth in taxation process throughout the county. And I will say that this property tax impact schedule that we're going to go through, that is also on our website, is essentially based on a couple of things. We actually went through this process last year and proposed a tax rate increase of 4.87%. Won't get into all the details, but ultimately that was not ultimately approved last year, and it would have amounted to approximately $230,000. As a city, we, for the most part, are in the general thought process of small incremental increases really put us in a position where we don't have to have a large increase all at once. So we want to have a regular maintenance schedule where we're looking at those things. And I can go ahead and go through this impact schedule that's also available online. I think really everyone in the room is familiar with it to some extent, or has it before them. So first off, I want to say that I thought it was up there. I'm sorry. There we go.
Those eyes in the back of your head checked.
I know. It is behind you, right, Matt? That's fair. So we construct this proposed impact schedule before we know the county tax rate. So everybody kind of knows that it's a general estimate. So that first line on here is an estimate or preliminary tax rate. The county rate actually came out to be 0.0024170. And what we have on this schedule is basically this proposal of 10.39% is where we started out, and then we adopted the rate of 10.30%, which will generate approximately $476,331 if all collections take place as outlined and as historically possible. So let me walk through the things that we felt like we needed that were important to the city that make up that $476,300. The first item on here is an additional fire engine to replace the aging one in our fleet. So basically we try to adhere as best we can as a city to the National Fire Safety Standards to replace these fire engines on a regular basis. And we're fully aware that there's a huge backlog to build these engines, and we have to commit to purchasing one 3 to 4 years in advance. Well, we needed to set aside money for that. So that's the first item on here is a set aside annually of $281,300. So the proposed budget for that annually for the next multiple years to pay for that engine outright is before you. So that's the first item on here. The next item is a public works item Public Works has a proposed budget,
Matt, you slide that up.
a proposed budget of $100,000 for sidewalk replacement in this budget. Typically, that budget is only $50,000, and there's really a need throughout the city for safety reasons, for maintenance reasons, to not only upkeep those sidewalks, but also to expand kind of the reach of where we have them. So we're trying to set aside a little bit of money every year for those continued capital improvements in sidewalks. And the next item is capital improvement for parks. The proposed budget is $150,000, which includes new monies of $100,000 as part of the tax increase. So really, just because of our recent park improvements, we want to really show our commitment to the citizens of South Ogden, how important our parks are to us. And we know that they're important to them. We get that in our survey feedback with regularity, that those amenities are very important to them. So we want to make sure that we're providing these capital improvements so that we can incrementally improve those parks on an annual basis. And the far right column on this schedule shows the budget line item where these funds are budgeted right now. And as we go through the actual budget, you'll see those items. And then the last item on here is our aging police fleet. So we have already earmarked a great deal of funds to replace our kind of ancient police fleet. And what we're trying to do is make a larger commitment to meet the needs with feedback from our police chief, that we would really like to do some additional vehicles more than we're in the base budget at this time. So that's an additional $45,000 for the police fleet. So that brings us to a grand total of $476,300 for this property impact schedule. And what that amounts to is we recognize that that's a burden upon our citizens, of course. So that approximate dollar amount of $476,300 would be due to an increase in their property taxes. And let me ask Mr. Dixon to go ahead and go to the next page. This just kind of is looking at our proposed rate of 10.3%, which is essentially adopting the new rate of 0.00266660 from the current rate of 0.0024170. And that 10.3%, as you can see on the county schedule that we're providing, and is also on our website, just is a comparison between different cities. And we really have our own process here, and we feel like it's in a lot of ways a best practice system to look at that property tax every single year and make a decision on what's appropriate there. But some of the other cities on the schedule include Harrisville City, who's asking for a nominal increase. Hooper City is asking for a 46% increase, and Roy City is asking for a 54.9% increase. So really our ask of 10.3% is essentially an ask of the last 2 years worth of property tax increases. And then you'll see Washington Terrace at 6.73%, and the Weber Basin Water Conservancy at 6.99%, and the Northview Fire District at 9.73%. I think our council is kind of sick of talking about this property impact schedule. We have to talk about it each time we have a hearing between June and now. But really, we want to just make sure that we're following the process set before us and giving the public the opportunity to comment, of course. So again, our 2027 budget includes this 10.3% tax increase. And we've gone through the schedule. And then the council can decide based on public feedback to adopt that 10.30% rate or a lower rate, or have continued discussions if necessary, if as they see fit. And the last thing I wanted to say is that we've been very careful to post notices of this hearing, both in the local newspaper, on the local website, utahlegals.com. And that notice has been available for 14 days. And in addition to that, our budget has been publicly available on our website for more than 10 days for public inspection. So really, this is just a culmination of many months of work that we've been through to hear feedback on the proposed property tax impact schedule and increase, as well as the FY 2027 budget. Any questions from the council?
Okay. Thank you, Peter. So we'll open this public hearing just a minute, just to reiterate, this is an increase of just your South Ogden City tax line, not your full tax bill. We get that question a lot. Your home valuations were done by the county assessor's office. So that's not us either. And you've seen that what we'd like to do with this increase is money to parks, sidewalks, and some to police and some to fire. So thank you, Peter, for that explanation. So with that, entertain a motion that we open a public hearing to receive and consider comments on the possible increase to South Ogden City's portion of property taxes and the fiscal year 2027 budget.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, we're now in a public hearing. We'd invite anybody in the room to come to the podium. Just state your name, what's on your mind. Those of you that are on Zoom, you can either raise your hand and we'll call on you after those in the building have spoken, or you can write your comment out and we'll have that read in before the public hearing ends. So, okay, thank you. Mr. Holly, go ahead, please.
For me, you need my name and.
Just your name and what's on your mind.
So my mind is I'm always opposed to property tax increases. And I don't have facts and figures, but there you go. And I did talk to the city manager here briefly. Just because I have a complaint, don't mean I don't have a solution. I have a solution. Why do we need 5 council members for 18,000 people or 19,000 people? And also, I don't know how many people we have on the payroll for the city. I think it's time we need to get rid of somebody. And I will tell you, I will give 3 days a week free. I'll come work for the city, and before everybody on what's everybody's mind is liability, I'm sure, liability. But you know what? Liability is anything, but I'll give 3 days a week to get my taxes down, free. And I think we need to get more people involved, put out an alert or something, but like I said, I don't know how many folks you got on the payroll, but maybe some of them need to be gone. Anyway, that's.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for coming in. Yes. Yeah, sure.
Hello, my name is Devin Allen. One of the things I thought about is I think these are good purposes that we need in our city, especially the police department and fire department. I want them to get the support they need. But I think there might be other alternative ways to get funds as well. I haven't seen anything about community fundraisers or events that maybe help raise those funds as well, other than through taxation. I think that there's a good chance there's many in this community that would be happy to help and to freely give of their money rather than be taken through taxes. So I think that'd be something to look at. And then even as the gentleman just said, I think just reviewing the other expenses. I've been trying to do some, but I haven't had much time, to be honest. Just life's busy. Just looking at where the city's putting the money right now and just reviewing to see if there's places we can cut and to see what is the highest priority for the citizens and for our community.
Thanks, Devin. Appreciate that. Others in? Danielle, what do we got on Zoom? We'll have to comment. Okay. All right. Thank you. What I appreciate about you two is that spoke was suggestions. We often get, everybody's easy to point out problems and complaints, but to actually have some suggestions is highly appreciated. So, okay, seeing no one else that would like to comment or no one on Zoom, entertain a motion that would close our public hearing.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, public hearing is now closed. Item 3 on the agenda is discussion action items, consideration of resolution 26-21, adopting the fiscal year 2027 final budget.
Mayor,
Please.
my understanding was that that public hearing was for the tax increase. We need to open a public hearing for just the budget itself.
Okay. I tried to join them together. We don't like that. Okay, then intend we open a public hearing to receive and consider comment on the fiscal year 2027 budget.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Anyone like to speak to the budget portion of not just the tax increase? Any on Zoom? And even if they buzz in a minute into our next discussion, we can throw them on. Okay. Entertainment, should we close our public hearing about the fiscal year 2027 budget?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Awesome. All right, now consideration of resolution 26-21, adopting the fiscal year 2027 final budget. Any questions for Peter? We've been going over this for months and had this available. A couple comments I will make for those that did speak today. Believe me, we look at every line item in the budget and feel like we're pretty lean right now. Like we don't have that. I think Public Works and even Fire are a employee short, even we're not even at full staffing a lot of the time. And so if we were to cut employees, we'd have to cut services. And so we look at every single line item. We look at what last year's expenses and really do monitor like that. I know it'd be a different discussion with Mr. Hawley, but the county commissioner has 3 commissioners and that's not enough. So 5 is probably not too many. 5 is probably just the right amount, but I appreciate those suggestions. So further discussion?
On
Yeah,
the,
Mr. Stevens.
on the police, the allocation of the budget for the police, how many cars are we purchasing? Do you have that?
Peter, yeah,
Peter?
please.
I do. So, we had budgeted 6 total vehicles last budget cycle. And as you know, those were delayed in the budget cycle. Chief, I believe Chief Park asked for 15 total because we've really been dragging our feet on making those replacements. But the current budget includes an additional 6 vehicles in accordance with that. So that brings our total to 12, actually. And then we, of course, had the truth in taxation additional amount of $45,000 to help with that. And these are leased vehicles. So the idea is that we get on a more regular replacement cycle as far as that goes, so that we don't have to eat this many all at once in the future.
So it's 6 vehicles that we're purchasing this year.
That's right.
Okay. And that's to replace some of the agent vehicles that's in the fleet at the present time.
That's correct.
Okay.
And also replace them sooner because our mechanic budget is very high to fix these things that are getting old.
Well, I think that's a matter of safety for our employees to make sure our fleet is up to date and in good operation orders.
True.
I think one other thing I would say is, you know, as we go through these requests, we really try to leverage our dollars with grants from the county and otherwise, and we were able to get some grants from the county that really took some burden off of our overall request too.
Thank you. Okay. Mr. Dixon, please.
Mayor, if I could just make a couple of
Yep.
quick comments.
Please.
I think it's interesting. We're as consumers, we all pay attention to the cost of goods at the grocery store, right? And a common index that we all refer to is the CPI, Consumer Price Index. And we know that this last year was slightly under 3%, roughly around that 3% number. There's an index specific to municipal governments, and it's something like whenever I do my analysis and others, it's called the municipal cost index. And unlike a CPI that looks at grocery goods, things that we as consumers consume, it looks at what do cities, what do municipalities buy and consume, and what does inflation look like? And so that's looking at, and some of this is going to overlap with the CPI as well, but it's looking at stuff like plastic pipe that goes in the ground, right? PVC,
Fuel.
looking at concrete, it's looking at fuel costs. Just to put in some context around, as that municipal cost index over the last 2 years has been around 7.5%. And so as a resident, I could look at it and go, wow, like 10% is way more than the CPI, and it is. But as our costs as a city go up, despite trying to find opportunities to save and to become more efficient, which is one of your strategic objectives, is to look for improved efficiencies and cost savings. And so that is a focus of ours. But I just think it's helpful to put that into some context around it is costing municipalities, and we're not unique to that. All municipalities, that cost of providing the services we provide every day has gone up from a percentage basis significantly more than the consumer price index. Again, just some context around the difference between municipal, local government and our costs in comparison to what we're more familiar with, which is the consumer price index. And so I just point that out as an interesting piece of information. I want to emphasize that staff is always here and available. So should any member of the public ever have questions, want to dig into more detail, we would welcome more engagement with residents to come in, and I'll offer Peter, because I know he'd be willing to do it, would be to just sit down and talk through any part of our finances or our budgeting and those processes. We work really hard, but doesn't mean that we always have all the right answers, and we're always open to consider people's input and ideas, and we work for the community, and so would certainly always extend that invitation to the public. Let me just throw in my response to Mr. Hawley before the meeting about 5 council members. State law only allows certain forms of government for municipalities: 5-member council, 6-member council, and there's a couple of others, but there's not a form of municipal government that we can even entertain having less than a 5. The 6-member council is for smaller communities where the mayor is also a member of the council. And so there are those nuances between those different forms, but it's the state provides, here are your options. And so welcome. I like the creative thinking, but the state does control a lot of how we can be organized as a city. The last thing I'll mention would be just simply express appreciation to Peter and the department heads. I mean, our general fund's 20 million. I don't know, total funds, we're probably $40 million. That's a lot of line items. And our department heads comb through their budgets in detail, and Peter works with them to put together, you know, a pretty significant budget. South Ogden is relatively still a small community, but there are approximately $40 million annually that run through this organization to provide all of the services the community requests from us. And Peter has a tall task to pull all that together and present a balanced budget that complies with the many state restrictions and requirements. And so kudos to Peter for all the work he's done. And that's all I have to say, Mayor. We're happy to answer questions as staff if you have further questions about the budget.
Well, thank you. And, remind voters over the years that anything this council approves, we all live in this city as well. So anything the council approves, they have to pay for as well. So appreciate your willingness, council. With that, then entertain a motion that we approve resolution 26-21.
So moved.
Salute.
Councilmember Peterson hopping in there with a second. Thank you. Any further, we have motion second, any further discussion? Okay, this is a roll call vote. Councilmember Howard.
Yes.
Councilmember Smythe.
Yes.
Councilmember Stevens.
Yes.
Councilmember Howe.
Yes.
Councilmember Peterson.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, and with that, and by state law, that's all we can discuss tonight. So entertain a motion that we adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.